Hello.
Hi. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. Hold on. Let me turn up the volume. I feel like I've been off Instagram or something because I was trying to see. I'm like, does she invite me to join? Do I have to join? I had one of those moments that I'm like,
No,
come on, Layla.
I understand. I was literally, it's like social media is so crazy. It's so weird to like work around. But thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited to talk to you. And so for everybody joining, Layilah is our special guest for today. She is the current title holder for Miss Maryland USA. Growing up in Montgomery Village, Maryland, she has been a proud member of Girl Scouts of America since the first grade. With her passion for paying it forward and giving back to the community, she has been able to serve as a troop leader both in the United States and in Denmark. Her desire to leave a legacy in every space she enters and her love for travel and empowering others, Layilah is humbled, honored, and excited to represent Maryland at Miss USA and throughout her reign.
Yes. Well, I'm so happy. I know this is a new series, so I'm excited to be the first guest. And girl, I'm always excited to talk to you.
Yeah, so we're going to start off with like a more fun question.
Sure.
So, what's the last movie you watched before the theater shut down before COVID, if you can even remember?
Whoa, I'm trying to think because for some reason a Disney movie is coming to mind, and a part of me thinks it's The Secret Life of Pets 2.
Ooh.
But I'm definitely a Netflixer, so like I wasn't huge on going to the theaters. The only reason why is for that popcorn. But if you are a Netflixer, there's so many really good foreign movies coming out that I've been really enjoying. And yeah, I can't wait to actually go back to the theater to get that popcorn for sure.
Yeah, what's a foreign movie that you would suggest to all of us that you're interested in watching?
Yes, I'm trying to think of the last movie, and it was based in Thailand. And it was actually a really sad movie in the sense of there was a tsunami that happened, and this family was trying to stay together in the midst of the tsunami. I can't think of the name. I watched it a few weeks ago, and I should have been prepared to answer that when I brought up the foreign films. But since I've traveled to Thailand, it was really like a full circle moment because there was areas in the movie that I actually was at. So I think it's crazy, just being someone who loves traveling, but seeing experiences like that devastate places is really crazy. But yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow, like that has to be like you said, a full circle moment, getting to see those areas in Thailand that you've been to.
Yeah.
So seems as though you have really traveled the world. So can you give us some travel tips?
Sure, for sure. So just a little backstory on the travel journey, and my mom just joined, so she'll be happy that I said this. But she really wanted all of us, me, my brother, and sister, to have the experience of, being immersed in different cultures, learning about different backgrounds, so we will be able to effectively connect with others. So my first trip out of the country was actually to Morocco in North Africa. And I'm sure a lot of people had the experience of seeing really negative media surrounding Africa and only certain, I guess, scenes you could say the media would show. And it's really like the devastated parts or the very poor and underdeserved areas. So going in, that was the thought process that I had. And that's what I thought that I would see. But in North Africa, for me, it was a really cool experience to be able to not only connect with the natives, but to learn more about the culture, and to learn more about my roots and my background. I think best travel tips that I could give overall is to do your research. To my point I made before, there's a lot of media surrounding the way that certain countries are run or what you expect to see when you go to certain countries. And most of the time, that's just not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it makes me think back to one specific experience where me and my friends from college thought we were travel experts. We didn't do our research on one country, which was Cuba, that we traveled to, and we didn't know that you had to have cash. So we get into the country, and we all had spent our cash, specifically in Mexico, before we got there. So we were kind of stranded. I didn't have any money. So best travel trips, do your research, know the currency, really be able to have some type of itinerary going in, so you know where you're going, you know what you're doing, and make sure you let your family know. Because we've called our families several times in Cuba, like, hey, help us out because we're struggling.
Oh my goodness. Well, y'all heard it here first. Since everybody's traveling again, make sure that you do your research so you don't end up stranded.
Yes.
Make sure that you do that. But circling back to Miss Maryland USA, when you were
Mm-hmm.
on stage doing that on stage question, it was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
You made sure to focus on Queens on Tech Connect. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I'm so happy that you asked. And not only as a woman in technology, but a woman who works specifically in the diversity talent acquisition space at Adobe. I really wanted to be able to create a program that was centered around women's empowerment, but specifically title holders and young women to help them break into technology. So we have two goals. One is around providing resources and being able to hear specifically from other women in tech about their journey through tech and how they broke into the field. And the second thing is around, confidence building, and it aligns with our values here at the Miss USA organization, helping women become confidently beautiful. And I think the best way to do that is to have mentors, is to have a strong support system, and have people who are constantly pouring into you and see the worth and value that you have in yourself. And I think that's one of the things that I got being a Girl Scout. I grew up and I had mentors not only in our Girl Scout Council, but our troop leaders and people that I was able to work with. So I think the biggest thing that I want women to take away from Queens in Tech Connect is that you have a group of women who believe in you and will support your development, whether that's career readiness, resume development, helping with interview prep. But we obviously have a disparity of women in technology right now. There's only about 20% in Maryland who are women in tech. So I really want to focus on increasing that 20% and letting women know that they have a space in technology.
That's amazing. I know even in pageants, it's
Mm-hmm.
so much better in the community whenever we have people that we can relate to and that we
Mm-hmm.
can call family. So I'm so glad that you created that for just women in general and also women in pageants who are in technology to have that circle and that support system. And
Yes.
speaking of a support system, I'm going to ask you, who inspires you?
Yeah, I get this question a lot, and it goes back to kind of my story of competing at Miss Maryland USA. Cammie Crawford, if you're watching, I don't know if you are, but shout out to you. I actually went to the pageant Miss Maryland USA and Miss Maryland Teen USA in 2009. And this is when I was still such a shy little girl who would get notes home like, Layilah doesn't talk. Is she okay? And I was just like, I am shy. I don't like talking to people. And growing up, a part of what me and my mom would do, we would watch America's Next Top Model and Miss America and Miss USA. And one day I was like, you know what? I want to do that. I feel inspired by not only seeing beautiful women, but seeing women that can articulate their beliefs and stand for a cause and really make impact. So my mom connected with the connects of the connects in Maryland. We met my first ever pageant coach, and she took me to Miss Maryland USA that year. And it was a turning point for me because I saw Cammie Crawford get crowned. And in these moments, you understand how important representation is, because not only could I see myself, being able to do pageants, but her winning made me realize that I could be successful within pageantry. And I think that also goes to show the importance of just seeing yourself in any space that you aspire to be, whether that's in tech, whether that's in pageants, whether that's in the medical field, in order to be able to, realize the power that you have within yourself. And I'm sure, given your story and the things that you're passionate about, you understand the importance of representation. And I think Cammie Crawford, still to this day, I look back to that moment. And I actually had a conversation with my old coach, Terry Ann, and she was like, Layilah, I remember you turned to me and said, I want to do this one day because of Cammie. And her saying that was just, again, like a full circle moment. Like, I did say that, and I'm here, and I did it. And I think one thing I want to leave with anybody is that regardless of where you are in life, regardless of the state of mind that you have in the moment, if you set your mind to something, and this sounds cliche, but it's the truth, you really can do it. And it took me 12 years to compete at Maryland USA. But I think that was also because I wanted to wait until I was ready, till I was grounded in who I was. And I actually had messaged Cammie years ago about that. I was like, I don't know if I want to compete. And she was like, just wait it out, continue to grow and develop into the woman that you're going to become. And I did. And if you're watching, Cammie, I will forever be grateful for you. This may be weird, but funny note here, my cat is named Cam.
Oh my God.
I have a little piece of Cammie Crawford everywhere I go, but yeah.
Well, when you talk about that, I can only think about how your full circle moment is only just inspiring Black girls and just girls of any minority across the nation who have the exact same goal of competing at a Miss USA preliminary or a preliminary pageant for any other system. They see you, they see a Black woman on stage, and they see themselves represented. And so I just want to share with you that that's very important, and we recognize what you're doing. Yeah, so let's talk about what your pageant journey has been. So you realize, okay, I want to do this.
Yes.
Where did it start? From ground zero, where did we go from there?
Yeah, great question. So after Miss Maryland Teen USA and that experience, I started off in an organization called the Miss Teen International organization. So the first pageant I competed in was Miss Teen Maryland International. First time around, got third runner-up. Obviously, I had no idea what I was doing, just trying to figure out the ropes. I think everyone knows that first pageant experience can be rough. And Taylor, you and I have talked about this before. But I went again, and I actually ended up becoming Miss Maryland Teen International in 2012. Did not place at the national pageant, but it was a really, really amazing experience in the sense of ever since that pageant, I feel like there's no pageant interview that I haven't been able to successfully tackle in the sense of they grilled us. I just remember being in this really vulnerable state and they asked very challenging questions. And I was like, I'm never going to be in a space where I'm not prepared to answer a question. I can do this. You just got to take a second to think about it. So went there, and then I actually competed for Miss Teen America. So I was a Miss Maryland Teen America, got third runner up at nationals, and I ended up winning the interview award there. Then I went to IJM when I moved to Georgia to attend Spelman College, and I made the top 15 and I won interview. So it was a consistent thing. After I said that interview prepared me for every interview going forward, I have consistently won the interview award in all of the pageants that I've competed in. I think it was just out of pure terror. And I was like, I don't want to be in that space again. So went to IJM, and then I went to UNM the year following, and I actually ended up not winning the state pageant. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. So I competed for the UNM Georgia title, and I got first runner up. So I actually represented the southern states at the national pageant. And then I ended up winning the USA National Miss title, which for me was an amazing experience. You're obviously familiar with UNM,
yeah.
But in terms of just my journey through pageants, I started off very shy and vulnerable, didn't know what I was doing. And then as time went on, I became just more grounded in what I wanted to represent. And that was really around Girl Scouts and women's empowerment. And then now I'm Miss Maryland USA, which is crazy to say. But I'm here and I'm competing for Miss USA in November. And this is my first interview, so it's really now starting to sink in. I think before I go in and out of like, oh, I'm on cloud 9, Miss Maryland USA. But it's sinking in now because I'm doing this interview with you, and I just feel grateful. I really, truly feel grateful in this moment.
Yeah, congratulations, you're the queen. You are the queen. So going back to talking about tough interviews, I can very much say that sometimes judges are very brutal when it comes to the interview room, as they need to be sometimes.
Yes.
So what has been the toughest interview question you've ever been asked?
Ooh. I think the toughest interview question that I had been asked, and this was in that first initial pageant, and I was still very young and naive, and I think it was around my thoughts on abortion. And at that moment and at that time in my life, those weren't conversations that I was having. So it really left me in this vulnerable state, and I didn't know how to answer the question, so I froze. And I think the best advice that I can give anybody who gets a question in the interview that throws them off, or maybe a topic they're not well versed on, or something that just makes them anxious, take a second. The thing is, it is okay for you to take a second, think and collect your thoughts about what you want to say, rather than saying nothing at all.
Yeah.
Because when I tell you, I looked at the judge and I was like, that's exactly what I did.
Oh my gosh. So
again, if there's a question you get that makes you anxious or nervous, take a second to think about it. And judges recognize that we're all human and we're not going to have the answer to every question at every second. But I'd much rather you wait to think about it than just to either not answer or to just say the first thing that may not be the the thing that you want to say, I guess.
So when it comes to those tough questions for Miss USA, we know that a lot of contestants bridge from youth pageants, which are pageants that start from a very young age into like the 20s.
Yes.
They bridge from youth pageants into the Miss USA system. So with a lot of youth pageants, you can't ask political questions, but Miss USA questions are very difficult and political based. So when it comes to answering those questions, what would your advice be to somebody that is walking on eggshells or scared to offend somebody with their answer?
Yeah, I think that's like the most commonly thing that everyone talks about, that bridge. And it's hard. I think it's hard in the sense of, there's two ways that you could take it. The first way you could take it, and this is something that I agree and support, in terms of being able to state your opinion and state your opinion confidently. And also be able to acknowledge the other side, because one thing that happens when you become Miss USA is you represent the whole entire United States. So it's okay for you to have an opinion, but you don't want to offend the other half of the country who may not agree with that particular opinion. And I think right now, as a country, we're in a very vulnerable state. There's a lot of things that are happening that are emotionally driven and emotionally charged. So I think a lot of people seek to don't seek to understand. That's what I'm getting at. And I wish that we could listen to the other side of people's opinions and people's experiences, and recognize that just because you guys don't have the same shared opinion doesn't mean that we can't have collective human conversations and agree to disagree. So I think for me, I would say to state your opinion confidently, but don't ignore the other side, because again, you are a representative of the whole entire country. And I think it's important to be able to continue to represent well, in the sense of being able to acknowledge everybody.
That's really good advice. So going on a lighter note, you mentioned in your caption about your Miss Maryland USA interview that you talked about pizza in the interview room. So how did that come up in conversation?
Okay, so the first question, the legendary pageant question, tell me about yourself. I'm like, you know what? I started off very serious. I'm Layilah. I graduated Spelman College. I work on a team that I helped create at Adobe, which is the diversity talent acquisition team, and talking about Girl Scouts. And I was like, I felt hungry in that moment. And one thing that I hadn't been able to eat in some time was pizza. So I said something along the lines of, one thing you should know about me is that I really love pizza, and I've been deprived for the last 7 months trying to prepare for this pageant. So I felt like you needed to know. I said something along those lines, and they were like, I don't blame you. So it definitely landed well. And I definitely, after the pageant, I ate 3 pizzas. Yeah, it was ridiculous. I think going from like the intense pageant diet to binge eating pizza was not the best, but I'm back on track now. So, okay. Yeah.
That's good, but you need to treat yourself. You just won. You're going to Miss USA.
Yes. In moderation. My stomach was mad.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. So, talking about Miss USA, what has your prep been like since you won?
Yeah, it's so crazy to even say that that's what's happening right now. But in terms of Miss USA prep, like I said, I took like a 2-week break off just to focused on being able to enjoy some of my favorite foods that have not been in my diet. But the cool thing about being Miss Maryland USA is we have amazing sponsors. So Lead Fitness is our fitness. So Mike Brooks is our fitness trainer that we have throughout the entire year, not only for preparing for Miss USA, but even after Miss USA. So we have fitness training with him, which is awesome because I definitely use quite a bit of different kind of trainings before Miss Maryland USA, from Mad Fit, which is a YouTube channel, to a few different trainers. And I'm excited to work with Mike in the sense of he knows exactly what you need to do to be prepared for the swimsuit competition at Miss USA. So it's been working out with him. And then also Prepare to Win. Michelle Holmes is our coach. She is amazing, and she works with the Maryland, New Jersey, and New York girls for a whole entire year, all the sessions we could ever want in our life. Her and I have already had 2-hour conversations, and we're just consistently in contact about what's going on. And we have a boot camp coming up. So I will be actually heading to New York tomorrow, me and my sister Queen Maria, along with the New Jersey title holders. And they're going to be crowning some new New York title holders to go through makeup lessons, to go through mock interviews, to, for me, help create my evening gown, which I'm really excited about. And then some photo shoots, just because we haven't really had any crowning photo shoots yet. So I'm so excited about it. So we have a great team, from interview lessons to lash and makeup sponsors to our amazing directors who support everything, Cindy and Debbie. So I'm really excited to have a team behind me, because I've never had a team before. I've just kind of like pulled together a lot of different things, some families and friends to supporting their businesses. So it's really cool to have an initial team already set.
That is awesome. It sounds like they have got you so prepared to get on that stage and head to Miss USA. So I'm so excited to root for you.
Wait, I gotta add one more plug in here because I don't want her to think I forgot about her.
Okay.
We do have a appearance coordinator named Bobby, and I have been working closely with her to coordinate appearances, not only for just general appearances and festivals and things of that nature, but connecting with Girl Scouts and being able to work and partner with people for Queens in Tech Connect. So have a lot of exciting events and speaking engagements coming up. And obviously, again, this is my first interview, so I'm so pumped and grateful for this. But stay tuned for all of the things to come.
That is amazing. Yes, so everybody make sure y'all follow Layilah so you can follow her on her journey and see all the appearances that she does. So our next question is about confidence. We know that Miss USA is all about being confidently beautiful. Yes. And if anybody has seen that onstage walk for swimsuit, we know that confidence is something that you have got down to a T. So I want to ask you, what is one of the biggest things that you love about yourself? And for somebody that's struggling for self-love, to find that self-love within themselves, what would be your advice to them?
Yeah, I mean, this confidence wasn't always here. And I kind of shared the backstory of like growing up and being extremely shy, not being able to have normal conversations. I'm sure you probably went through this experience of like not wanting to call the pizza man yourself. Like that was my personality. So it really took some time. And I think it wasn't till I was about 18-ish where I could say to a degree that I felt confident in who I was. And now being and standing here as a 26-year-old, I'm very grounded, and I can walk into a room and be myself without being scared of what people are going to think of me. And I think that's the one thing I love about myself, the fact that I show up to places authentically Layilah, and I recognize, and I think pageants has helped me recognize this too, some people aren't going to like me, and that's okay. And I think any takeaway you can get from pageantry is we subject ourselves to 5 random people's opinion, right? And sometimes, and typically, it doesn't work out the way that you want it to. There's only 1 or 2 winners in that time frame. And for me, it helped me in the sense of there's going to be job interviews where they're not going to give me the job. There's going to be medical school interviews. I'm not in medical school, but for anybody who's doing that or applying for grad school or undergrad, where you're not going to get the opportunity. Mm-hmm. And it most of the times it has nothing to do with you. It could be biased. It could be that person having a bad day who was reviewing your application. Or, I mean, essentially at the end of the day, it wasn't in God's path for your life. And I recognize that that's okay. And the biggest thing when it comes to self-love is recognizing that you have control over it. You 100% have control over it. And I think it took me several years to recognize that, because my self-love was grounded in other people's opinions, other people's thoughts, what other people said that I should be. And it put so much stress in my life. I went through periods of times where I just didn't think I was enough because my self-worth was grounded in others. And I think, again, like, being here today has made me recognize that it's okay to be me. And you just have to accept the fact that there's going to be some people that don't like you, but as long as you like yourself, that's okay.
Wow, that you were preaching right there. Somebody said amen to that, Miss Marilyn. Oh, and also somebody said in the comments that they're coming for that crown. You haven't even gotten on the stage yet, and they're already coming from it.
Let me know. I support it. We haven't announced our pageant dates just yet, but it will be taking place in the spring of 2022. So we'd love to have you.
So we are going to have a little bit of fun right now. We're going to play a this or that game, and I'm going to start it off. So for this or that, we're going to do swimsuit or evening gown.
Ooh, I am definitely a swimsuit girl. I didn't think I would ever say that, but as time has gone on, I love just the fast pace and the really hype music when it comes to walking down the runway in swimsuit. So I would say swimsuit.
Okay, sneakers or stilettos?
Look, I've been trying to get into sneakers, but the thing is, I think my style doesn't adhere to me being able to wear sneakers effectively. I've tried to wear sneakers and dresses. It works sometimes, but it doesn't often because of the dresses I like. So I'm definitely like a stiletto or like a chunky pump kind of girl, because you know, wear those anywhere. So yeah.
Speaking of pumps, what is your favorite brand? Like your favorite heel?
Shout out to my girl, Sydney Dion. I love me a diverse style, 100%. And fun fact, she is Miss Illinois USA. So we will be at Miss USA together. But the whole concept behind her business is that there is not one nude. And she was able to create a shoe for not only girls in pageantry, but women across the country to have a nude shoe that is their complexion. So I have all of the cinnamon colors and all of her shoes, and they're comfortable at that. Yes. And they give you a good height. Don't you have some, Taylor?
Yes. I love her shoes. I've even taken off one pair of heels and put on a pair of her heels because my feet were hurting. That sounds so crazy. Takes off one pair of heels and puts on another pair of heels to be more comfortable, but I was definitely more comfortable in the diverse style. So shout out to Sydney.
For sure.
For our next one, natural brows or field brows? Natural brows or field brows for this or that?
Natural browns. A lot of my wardrobe is like a natural brown tone, and sometimes I'll pop out the pink here and there. And I love green too, but it's hard to find greens, like the greens that I like, because I like the deeper greens. But I'll say natural brown.
Okay. Nude or red lipstick? And I already know the answer to this one.
You always can catch me with the nude, but I will pop out the red here and there. I think reds always look good with like a bold color, like a royal blue. But the thing about the red lip, it's hard to take off. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of, I guess, makeup wipe I use. It always ends up tinting my lips. And I'm like, I ain't got time for that. So I like the nude.
Yeah, it definitely stains your lips a little bit. And then you're like, no makeup. It's just not a good look. All right. Curly or straight hair?
I always got the straight bang. I'm definitely a straight hair girl. I think the thing about the curls, once, and this used to happen in Atlanta, and you know this, that you walk out the door, they're done. Yeah. They're done. Maryland is not as humid as Atlanta. But I just think when it comes to curled or straight hair, straight is easier to maintain. Even when the straight gets frizzy, it still doesn't look bad. But once the curls start to drop.
Yeah, it's not even because they drop and they just look just
frizzy.
It's not a good look.
It's not.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Layilah, for talking with us today and letting us get to know you and get to know about your journey to Miss USA. Before we get off, what would be your 30-second elevator pitch to anybody who is interested in competing in pageants or who is struggling with self-confidence to find the courage to compete in a pageant?
A 30-second elevator pitch. I love it. I think for me, the thing that I would tell anybody who is either eager or excited to join pageantry or doesn't know, to go to one. I think the best way to be able to decide whether something is for you is through experience. And when we talk about my story and being able to see Camden Crawford, that was the selling point for me. And if you need someone to go with, I'm your girl. I'm so open and always willing to support anyone who wants to jump into pageantry, given that it's really helped me grow into the woman that I am today. It's helped me be able to interview. It's helped me be able to walk into a room and again, be my authentic self. So I think the best piece of advice that I could give is to try through actually going to a pageant, having conversations with women who have been in pageantry for some time, and then finding a system that's for you. I think another thing that a lot of people don't talk about is there's so many organizations out there, and it's okay to try organizations out until you find a space for you, because pageants have different missions, different goals, but the biggest thing that I think brings all pageant women together is the art of sisterhood. I think one thing that I love about pageants and has helped me realize is that I have friends all over the nation. I already have some bridesmaids out there in mine, Kendra, Caroline, Gianna, all of my friends out there when I finally get married, whenever that is. But again, just having conversations, jumping into having experiences by going into pageants, and again, doing research to figure out what organization that you would like to call home.
Well, thank you so much. And everybody, make sure you follow Layilah at her personal page and at Miss MD USA so that you can follow her journey to Miss USA. We are rooting for you here at Beauty Queens Galore, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk with us today.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Taylor. And you are the perfect person to be an anchor. So I'm so excited for you, and I'll be continuing to follow your journey as well.
Thank you. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right. Talk later. Bye.